Hey Scott, hey everyone else, welcome back to 4 Running Shoes. So the day has finally arrived. It is the morning of the marathon. I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm not really sure what lays ahead, but it's my first marathon and I am, just can't wait to have it under the belt and have it finished. And just hoping that I manage to do a decent time. So I rocked up to the start line, started the race at 7. Just heaps and heaps of people. I think there was like 6,000 that completed the marathon. So it was a buzzing, great atmosphere there for the Melbourne Marathon. It's really, as Scott mentioned in his last video, it's really the running event of the year for Melbourne. So it's a really great environment, and I was a bit nervous, but the race started and it's obviously a slow start because there's so many people just slowly walking towards the start line. But once I was out running, I was just trying to hold back the pace a bit, trying to take it easy. I didn't want to sprint off at the start and get too excited. The distance was going pretty quickly actually. It was like 1 kilometer done already. It just kept going. I was running around 5-minute pace for the beginning and felt really good about it actually. And so I managed to keep that pretty reasonable for the first 5Ks, just keeping the speed down, not going too hard too early. But as the kilometers went by, I was still feeling good, so I think I started to increase my pace a bit. And ultimately my goal for this race was to get less than 3.5 hours. And I knew that was only 4:58 pace, but before I knew it I was running like 4:45 per kilometer. And then I got to about 20 Ks in, so almost halfway, and I was just really enjoying myself, feeling really good. My cardio was doing fine, my legs were fine, everything was just as if it was just a normal run. And so I kind of just went with it and got excited and started pushing for pace. So I think my third quarter of the marathon, between like 20 and 30 Ks, was by far my fastest. In fact, for the first 10, I started running at like around 48 minutes for that 10K, so a bit less than 5-minute pace. And then the next 10 was slightly faster, and then the next 10 which is that 20 to 30K, was like really quick, like less than 4:30 per kilometer. And so I was just feeling really great at that point. And in the back of my mind, I knew it probably wasn't going to last to the end of the race. I don't know, there was some kind of like inkling of hope, like what if I just kept speeding up all the way to the finish line? What a great time. And I was thinking, like, dreaming of sub 3:20 3 hours and 20 minutes for a finish time. That would have been really great. And I could actually see the paces ahead of me. There was a few turnarounds, so I kept like eyeing them off. And actually around 35 Ks, I caught the 3:20 paces. So I was feeling pretty good about that. But at the 35K mark, that's when all the pain started to settle in. And it was really interesting, like thinking about my prep for the race. I think a lot of things went really well actually. My training was a lot less than I had hoped for going into the race, but I actually was feeling really good as far as fitness, and my race prep went great. My wife helped me out heaps with meals and stuff, so I really appreciate everything that she helped me do to really set me up well for the race day. But then I got to the 35K, and I think I really felt the under-training, or at least I hadn't done too many long distance runs. I think I'd only done one run in my training that was longer than 30 Ks, and it was pretty easy. Like after I got to that 30K mark, it was starting to catch up to me. And 35Ks especially, I think I went really well up to the 35K mark, and then it was like the legs were just agony, just please stop running, please stop running. And so I was holding on to whatever pace I could. I saw the 3:20 paces just sort of soar off into the distance. I really made sure to like stop and drink at every rest station, every hydration station, because I just didn't want to get dehydrated. I wanted to make sure my fueling went well, and all of that went great. But yeah, the legs were just burning, I guess, at that point of the race. And it's such a, like, 7Ks doesn't sound like far after you've run 35, but man, 7Ks was like the longest distance ever. And each kilometer was just taking longer and longer to go by. Even up to the point where the last 2Ks just felt like an eternity. But I I had the support crew of Scott and my wife. Like my wife just sent me like probably 20 messages through that period, and I'd reply sometimes like it hurts or whatever. I think I sent her that message, and she's like, "Come on, keep pushing. This is just a wall. You can push through it." And so I did push through it, and even though I dropped my pace way back to like I think the last 7Ks was probably around 5:30 per kilometer average. It's actually still pretty respectable. Like I don't think I ever dipped below 6 minutes per kilometer, so I'm actually really happy with that. And it would have only added a few extra minutes onto my time. I think if I had kept going the way I was going, I would have probably hit 3 hours and 20 minutes. But as it was, I came across the finish line with 3 hours and 24 minutes on the clock and 10 seconds. So I'm really happy with that, because 3.5 hours was my goal. That was what I would be happy with. I think I would have been disappointed if it had been less than that. But the fact that I finished 6 minutes under that pretty much is, really unexpected, really exciting. And even the fact that I just fully know that I didn't leave anything on the course. Like I knew that's all my body was capable of doing for that race. And it feels really good to push myself really hard and get that result at the end of it. It feels really worth it. It feels amazing. Like I think so many people that finish a marathon will realize what it feels like just the sense of accomplishment that it gives you. And even like I realized around the 35K mark, I actually was getting pretty emotional. And I don't know why that was. It could have just been like the actual pain I was in, like made me want to cry, but I don't think it was that. I think it was more of an emotional response of like, this is like a really meaningful moment in my life. I need to keep pushing and do it for a greater purpose than just this race. Like I could just go home, it doesn't really matter too much, but I want to push for something greater than that, like whatever that is. All the training that I put in, all the sacrifices I've made, I guess it all culminates in that moment, and you feel that emotion welling up, I guess. And I felt that again as I was coming around the end, the finish. It's funny how you're running at like 5:30 and you literally can't move your legs any faster than that, but then you enter like the last 500 meters of the race, and then all of a sudden you get this adrenaline boost, and then you're sprinting. Like I just went with it and like sprinted the final the loop of the MCG, the Melbourne cricket grounds that you finish in. And it's just crazy. Like started getting emotional again with the completion, and like what kept me going, I guess, for that last 7Ks was just the thought of finishing and collapsing into my wife's arms. Like I'd finally done it, and just having her there was really meaningful. Unfortunately, that didn't play out because it's a big event. She was up in the stadium, but I could see her and I was waving, and that was a really cool moment, crossing the finish line. And it's not like I started crying or anything, but I did feel that emotion welling up in me, and that sense of relief when you're finished. And it's just really cool, like really cool experience. If you haven't done a marathon, really encourage you to push some training out and get it done, because it is a really special experience. And I'm really glad that my first marathon went like that. And I think moving forward to do another marathon would be a lot easier, and I can know what to expect a lot more. I think that your first marathon, you're really just coming to understand what that distance is like and what it's going to feel like. And I think there's always going to be that point of pain, that wall that you have to beat to finish. It's kind of how the distance is set up. It's not supposed to be easy. But so I'm really happy with that. And let me know in the comments below if you competed in the Melbourne Marathon, or any other distance in Melbourne this last weekend. I'd love to hear your results. I know Amelia, you were gonna run it, so let me know how you did that in the comments. And yeah, Scott also ran it and did the 10K, got a PB, so check out his video, which was a couple of days ago. But that's a really amazing achievement, Scott. Really proud of you for doing that, especially because you just come back from injury and you're still working up to it, but it seems like you've built your fitness back in and were able to push yourself for that race. So that's really cool achievement, man. And it's only up from here. All the best with your marathon training coming up. And yeah, with his marathon training, make sure you're subscribed so you see that, and then the actual marathon that he does in the end of November. And also stick around because next week I'm actually running in another event. The Casey Stride series is a 10-kilometer race series of 3 10K races done once a month for the next 3 months. And the first run is actually this coming weekend. So I'm not expecting too much because I'll still be recovering. I do feel really great after the marathon. Like, to be honest, it hasn't really impacted me heaps. I was a bit stiff for a day, but then after that, I was pretty much back to normal. And I'm actually feeling really good, like going into the 10K race. So I think I could actually get close to a PB as well. We'll see. But make sure you subscribe so you can check that out. That'll be Thursday next week, and Scott's video will be on Tuesday next week. But other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Catch up.